Hello, everyone, and welcome. Of course, we are back here, and it's all about the non-violence begins with me, that movement, that campaign. And today's topic is actually quite an interesting and very intriguing topic as well. I mean, it's one that we could all relate to, and that is, of course, coping in COVID times. And we know that during this pandemic, we've been going through a lot. It's been a lot of just ups and downs and different emotions that we're experiencing straight throughout. Nevertheless, we're out here to talk about it. We're out here to talk you through it as well, so that we can all understand what everyone is going through and get a further understanding of just how we can really, make this pandemic, make ourselves go through this pandemic in a very happy way, or to try and find that happiness once again. And I want to welcome, of course, two young people who are here with us, and of course, you all know them. They've been here with us before, and that is John Michael and Ana-Lissa. So thanks a lot for coming on board. They'll be joining us throughout the discussions as well. My name is Darrion, Narine, and I'll be your host for this evening. And we have two very, very special guests joining us here this evening as well, with some excellent topics and some excellent contributions. First, we have Muwaki from, of course, the Freetown Collective. And then we have Karline Brathwaite, who's a drama therapist. And I'm looking forward to see what she has to present for us as well. I know that should be something very interesting, especially during this pandemic times. So guys, welcome once again. And we're going to be speaking about coping in COVID times. Now, let me introduce the next act. And that is, of course, the Freetown Collective's very own Muhammed, who's going to be giving us a little talk and, of course, a little performance inside there as well. So without further ado, let me hand you over right now to Muhammed Muwaki.
Ooh, yeah. Na 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 na. When you wake up in a good mood, or you're just feeling good, there ain't no wasted time. Just focus on your mind when things are going right, yeah. What you gotta do is take care of your brothers and sisters. What you gotta do is show love to your neighbors. What you gotta do is look out for the women and the youngsters. What you gotta do is spread love, 'cause you know we need that. If things just don't look good, and it seems no matter what you do, time's not on your side, and eyes not but to cry, to feel the love inside, yeah. What you gotta do is take care of your brothers and sisters. What you gotta do is show love to your neighbors. What you gotta do is look out for the women and the youngsters. What you gotta do? I wanna hear you all of Savannah singing this with me. Everybody, we have to go like this. We going. Oh, 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 oh. Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, 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 oh. No time for the bad mind, no time for the haters, no time for the bad news printed in the papers. Too many missing, too many gone, too many children. Let me see what you're saying like so. What we need is love. What we want is love, yeah. What we need is love. And if we want this love, what you gotta do is take care of your brothers and sisters. What you gotta do is show love to your neighbors. What you gotta do is look out for the women and the youngsters. What you gotta do is spread love, 'cause you know we need that, we need that, we need that. No time for the bad mind, no time for the haters, no time for the bad news printed in the paper. Too many missing, too many gone. Let me all listen it right now. We going. Oh, 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 oh. Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, 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 Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Duncan.
So sometimes I get so excited that I'm so excited for a specific speaker to come on board that I forget certain things, you know, and this is natural to happen as well, especially during a pandemic when you're coping with certain things, you know. You're so excited to hear and be relieved and understand where the speaker is coming from that I completely forgot that we had Aaron Duncan's amazing clip and amazing performance there. So that was just Aaron Duncan. That was not Freetown, just in case you all were having some dissonance there and wondering what was going on. No, that was Aaron Duncan. And now we're going to actually flow into the conversation. Well, not really a conversation, but a conversation through music, which is even more interesting. So the message is going to be coming through the art form. And I always like that. I always appreciate that like 10 times more. So I'm looking forward to this lovely performance from the entire Freetown. So it's not just going to be Muhammad, but we've got a special treat for you all as the entire Freetown collective who will be performing here. So I'm going to lead off now into that video, and I hope that you all enjoy.
Greetings, I am Muhammad, and we are Freetown, and we're so glad to be here as a part of this energy here. Non-violence begins with me. Thank you very much for inviting us. We just here to do a little music for y'all and be a part of this movement. So thank you so much for inviting us. This is our set. Hope you enjoy.
And a sinking silence. They don't know what they say. No. Cause this generation, I'm on a mission. Our world to change. I see bodies lying in the streets, nations collapsing in a day. Lord, I need to cool my head. Itself is a consequence, but bodies to say and souls to rent. Yeah. They say we can't love. We live fast, we die young. They say we bloom to fail. No. They say we bloom to fail. They say we prone to violence and a sinking silence. They don't know. No. Our world change, yeah. See, I was born in the 80s, so they hate me. I'm the reflection of everything you don't see. In this fight I pay with my life. These PlayStations have no value. So boys nowadays don't argue when tempers flare. They don't cry tears, bullets fully talking, dead men walking. It's not soon. Our fingers point back at you. Descendants of World War II. Our love songs are so we write just to write what they did wrong. Rebellious, arrogant, headstrong. Your perception of me is just dead. Smart bombs and nuclear warfare, treaties and sanctions. They're telling lies, but they are fooling us. No. They're fighting. Who can live here but the demons and the vultures? Children, it's time for an exodus. No. They say we can't write no love songs. When the war done, I go write one. They say Don't be frightened, don't get worried. This is normal, this is normal.
Woke up this morning from my normal sleep. Had my normal breakfast, normal juice and normal cereal. Picked up my papers just to do my normal reading normal war and killing all these normal people feeling like everything normal, 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 everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Make you feel like blow up. Middle East stop, blow up. Murder anything that show up, but it's okay. Hold up. Murder anything that show up, but it's okay. Hold up. Everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Normal. Everything normal, everything normal, everything normal.
Tell me what you fussing for. What's the big deal? Just a few black boys with some loose steel, running wrong in circles just to get a square meal. But I don't know my sin. Let's just keep it real. Everybody's salary.
Normal,
I know they're busting the police.
normal,
I see your body in the streets.
normal,
But we just buried in disease.
normal,
Hey, tomorrow is the same.
normal,
And the people will complain.
normal,
But we just play this like a game.
normal,
Pretend to stay the same.
mama, everything normal, everything normal, everything normal, everything normal, everything normal, everything normal, normal, everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Don't be frightened, don't get worried. This is normal, this is normal. When it fall down, when it fall out, don't get worried. This is normal. If it fall down, if it fall out, don't get worried. This is normal. When it fall down, when it fall out, don't get worried. This is normal.
Normal. School children smoking normal, walk the streets naked normal.
Fake it to make it if you want to take it normal.
Rob the bank normal and buy a Range Rover normal.
Look like to the people normal. Practice evil normal.
Chop off my head normal and smile on camera normal.
Well, bust your AK, make it block shit way normal.
Just the green murder normal and no some daylight me normal.
Get fat in the parliament. Can I pay my rent normal?
Take a run in town normal and buy a gun normal.
Casually rub you while dressing real formal normal.
Go to court normal and cost the magistrate normal.
Beretta 9mm, Mach 11 normal.
Take my sentence normal, Isaac King in jail normal.
Hungry to starve, range in the garage normal. Don't be frightened, don't get worried. This is normal, this is normal. When it fall down, when it fall out, don't get worried. This is normal. If it fall down, if it fall out, don't get worried. This is normal. If you love it, when it's normal, take some normal in your normal.
Everybody, from the front to the back. If you remember right now, we are clap your hands. Clap your hands. Let's go. Sing it if you don't know. Sing for them. Sing for them.
This city can't hold me. My vibe's too high. And my heart it told me jump right now, you will touch the sky. Feel my love unfolding like a laughing flame. All of the not know me when not done, they gon' know the name.
A million people coming down,
dancing to a song.
say ooh, ooh, hey.
Love is life and life is love. Blessings from above.
Everybody know, sing it if you know it. Can you feel the love that's in the air?
Well, if you feel it, let me hear you say,
Dancing, moving, grooving everywhere.
if you feel it, let me hear you
Everybody
say,
know.
take me to the river, take me to the sea, wash over me music, bathe me in your melody. We are such a blessed tribe, sweeter than a million bees. People live 1,000 lives and never feel this free.
Million people coming down,
Dancing to a song.
ooh,
Hey.
ooh, hey.
Love is life and life is love. Blessings from above.
Let me hear the people say, can you feel the love that's in the air?
Well, if you feel it, let me hear you say,
Dancing, moving, grooving everywhere. No, Santa, we go.
na 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 na. We say na 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 na.
Last time, everybody. Can you feel the love that's in the air?
Well, if you feel it, let me hear you say,
Dancing, moving, grooving everywhere.
if you feel it, let me hear you.
Can you feel the love that's in the air?
Well, if you feel it, let me hear you.
Dancing, moving, grooving everywhere. Everybody
Take me to the river, take me to the river. Wash over the music, wash over me. Hey, take me to the.
That was our set. So, thank you so much for inviting us. Like I said, non-violence begins with each and every one of us making that decision to act in a different way. You know, as we see our societies completely pervaded by this type of attitude. So, those of us who know better have to do better. Yeah. So we give thanks for the opportunity and for the moment. We see you all soon. Love, respect.
And that was the Freetown Collective. Amazing stuff, amazing delivery, amazing performance. I mean, it's just, every time I hear them, they like ignite the energy within me, and I'm sure that they ignite the energy within everybody else on this panel as well. You feel to move, you feel to groove, you feel the love that's in the air. You know, guys, one of the things that I just heard coming down to the end there, and it made me think about what the new normal is that he said, take me to the river. Take me to the river. And I cannot remember the last time I went to the river. I can't remember the last time I went to the beach. I can't remember the last time I went to a pool. I ain't swimming a long time, you know. So that's one of the things that I felt like crying at that moment. It was almost like, take me to the river. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. You know. So that was just something. But on a more serious note, though, he was talking about that whole idea of the normal, that song, normal. And we know that we are adjusting to the new normal. Of course, wearing masks being one, of course, social distancing being another one. You know, we are people in Trinidad and Tobago that we are accustomed socializing, we are accustomed liming, especially for young people, going to the club, going to the concerts, to take a little movie in, to take a little lime, even a gathering, a social gathering anywhere. You know, we have a liming culture where we could pop up and have a lime anywhere as well, to the gym, all these things have been taken away from us. And you know, we have to adjust it. We're doing new things and finding new means of interacting with each other. One being, of course, the Zoom platform as well, where we have the social gatherings have now moved to the virtual space, right? I just want to get some insight from you guys, how you guys feel about this, and how are you all adjusting to the new normal? Maybe we could hear from Ana-Lissa. Give us tell me a little bit. How are you adjusting to the new normal?
Hi everyone. For me, adjusting to the new normal, as soon as I heard Feel the Love, it took me back, to Carnival where we were all together, we were all connected, and I started to feel that same energy that I felt at that point in time. And I was like, this is the same energy that we can transfer into this virtual platform, into this new normal, the connection, the energy, the togetherness. It's not just at that point in time where we were physically together, but it could be transformed into the virtual realm. I remember having so many Zoom parties for persons' birthdays, and we can just spread that togetherness. We can't go to the gym, and I love to go to the gym, but we can do some push-ups, we can carry that what we would have done together, what we would have done in a physical space, we can carry that into our own space or onto a virtual realm. And for me, as soon as I heard the presentation, the music, I was just instantly feeling lighter. And for me, I started to listen to a lot more music during the pandemic because I wanted to find positive music. I wanted to find something that lifted my spirit. And it was just so coincidental that it was Freetown presenting, because one of their songs kept saying, "You'll be okay." And I used that throughout the entire lockdown period to tell me, this is a totally drastic situation. This is something that is unprecedented, but you'll be okay. And I felt like finding positive music, finding something that uplifts your spirit, that helps a lot during this pandemic and helps you help others during the pandemic.
No, I feel it there. And you know that we need that kind of togetherness at this point. We need each other to kind of support each other as well. And this is just a gentle reminder. The new normal also means checking up on your friends, checking up on your family, checking up on your loved ones, especially those who live alone, because they might be going through certain things and they might be experiencing certain things that, a lot of us might take for granted because we might have other people around us who we interact with quite often. So John Michael, tell me a little bit, how are you adjusting to the new normal? What is your routine? What is up with you?
All right, nice. Well, in listening to the piece there, it had a kind of bittersweet kind of vibe because, you miss the things that you could have done, but then COVID now posed that opportunity to do things that you would have initially taken for granted. The time spending with family or, be having more time to study in a sense sometimes too. And me coming from a fitness background, a life coaching background, and an entrepreneur background, it really enabled me to take this time better in a sense, to handle this time better, because as an entrepreneur, we adapt to change. We naturally look for the change because every change there poses that challenge. And this is what our spirit is about. Even in fitness, that challenge, embracing the challenge, everything would not really always be normal in a sense. The only constant is change. And change brings that challenge. And without challenge, there's no growth. So for me, I actually saw it as an exciting period where it challenged me to grow as a person. It challenged me to grow as an individual, as a leader, as finding new ways to do business, to do fitness, whether it's, at home on Zoom or whatever the case is. So it really was, in a sense, a bittersweet vibes, meaning, you miss the usual, but then for me, embracing the challenge was really that sweet aspect of it, how am I going to move forward from here?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you raised a very important point there as well, entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship during this period, which becomes very difficult. And a lot of people are experiencing restraints in terms of the growth of their business because of this COVID pandemic as well. So it's really important now that entrepreneurs have to think outside the box. And like you said, you're thinking outside the box. You're thinking about what to do differently, new and creative ways. One of the industries specifically that's very much impacted during this period is, of course, the creative industry, the orange economy, which has taken a serious hit and a huge hit. And it's quite interesting that we have quite a few artists who are featured on this live today as well, because they will know how serious the hit is, and in terms of not being able to your craft to be able to make that income that it used to before. That has been a serious impact as well. Karline, I just want to bring you into the conversation a little bit. I know that you're going to present for us later, so I'm very excited to see that. But as you're here one time with us, maybe tell me how are you adjusting to the new normal?
Hi, everyone. Well, this new normal, I think the first thing we need to be honest with ourselves, it sucks. Yeah, and for young people, I feel like, the adults in the room, the adults around have to acknowledge that it really does suck, and particularly for young people, this time in our lives is where we grew from connection and connecting with other people, and we can't do that in the way that we would usually. So it sucks. That's the word that I'm sitting with right now. Just to acknowledge that, right? So I'm putting that out there. But as others have shared, it's an opportunity. And it is exciting if we think about it. But for some people, it's more challenging. For me personally, I'm taking this thing one day at a time. I can't think about the future and people telling me, do this and do that and start this. And listen, I just need to make it through one day at a time. And that has been helping me manage my anxieties, managing my disappointments. And it helps me to be so much more grateful for all that I have around me and all that is, keeping me going during this time. So that's my mantra, one day at a time. Just get through one day at a time. So yeah, that's how I'm adjusting.
I love that mantra, one day at a time, just taking it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, taking it piece by piece. So you break it down, you break down your days, you break down your weeks, you break down your month, but you take it one day at a time ultimately. And, you see how you can get through that and see how you can go through those things one day at a time. I mean, one of the most difficult things that we've seen with young people as well is now school as well is now online, right? And people are doing classes online, and that can be easy. I mean, to have to focus then to sit and stay at a computer screen, you don't have the interactions as much. If somebody Wi-Fi drop, imagine you're in the middle of class and your Wi-Fi just drop or current gone. It's pressure, right? It's real pressure. And these are the kind of stresses that you have to deal with now, and that we're not taking into consideration sometimes, but also from the perspective of parents who have their youngsters at home with them now, whereas the youngster would have been in school and therefore they had that time period free to work. Now they have to actually be doing both at the same time, playing both parent and to some extent teacher, supervisor, and assisting their kids. And of course, we just saw as well, a lot of them don't have laptops and technology and all these things. So that's another difficulty inside that a lot of people are facing. And these are the realities. But as you said, it's about adjusting, it's about finding new ways and new means of doing things. So for example, if you have 10 laptops in your house, right, and you're not using about 3 of them, you could donate to somebody who really needs it or lend it to somebody who really needs it, and I see that as being so important. That is our altruistic call as well, to help others in this time and really to lend that hand out, to have that hand outstretched, and to really bring people on board with the movement towards this happiness and progress during this period. We can't become static individuals. We have to continue to progress along, and that is so essential and so important. And we've also seen some very interesting things on the other side as well, in terms of we've seen a lot of campaigns popping up targeting a lot of social issues. So that's been one thing that we've seen happening during these COVID times as well. And we're looking at things like, of course, the non-violence begins with me, the non-violence movement. We have the BLM movement across the globe as well. So, we've seen different movements coming up. How do you all feel about that, about that aspect of it? Anybody? Maybe Ana-Lissa again. You could start us off. Yeah.
No problem. I see a lot of campaigns coming up. I see a lot of organizations, especially youth organizations, taking form, and I'm very proud. I feel extremely happy because to me, it says that young people have taken a time to pause, taken a time to reflect on what affects them, what they see affecting others. And then they've also taken that pause as a call to them to how can I assist? How can I call to action myself and other persons? So I'm extremely grateful to see a lot of young people bring in different nonprofit organizations and different activities to ensure that marginalized voices are heard.
So important and so integral. Guys, stick a pin there. We'll be back with some more conversation in just a few. But we have to go back to the music, back to the artistry, of course. And I'd like to introduce the next clip, which is TNT, We Want Peace. And this is from multiple artists as well. So without further ado, let's flow into that. And let's get that peace moving all over Trinidad and Tobago, the wider Caribbean, and the globe.
If we could only get, as I said repeatedly, the sort of attitude that the population as a whole has to the entire carnival celebrations, if we could have that throughout the year, Trinidad and Tobago would be the richest country in the world.
Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed, no more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. Yeah. Trinidad has changed so much from what it used to be. So much crime and hatred, war and poverty. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. 'Cause they're the ones who's coming up and the world is in their hands. It's when you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. Trinbago won't get no better if we just let it be. Trinbago won't get no better. You gotta change it, yeah. Just you and me. Wake up all the builders, time to build a new land. I know we can do it if we all lend a hand. Lend a hand. The only thing we have to do is put it in our minds. Maybe how we'll work out, we do it every time.
Wake up TNT, it's time to reunite. Yeah. Let's come together, help each other, don't give up the fight. Together we aspire, together we achieve. Come on, let's keep the hope, come on, let us believe. Better days are coming, it starts with you and me. So hug a brother, hug a sister, we need love indeed. Put your hands in the air, let me hear you plead. Leaders, come on, let's lead, guess we support the speed. Pick up a book and read, need knowledge to succeed. Let me hear you say, sweet TNT, with peace, love, and bring back the unity.
Trinbago won't get no better if we just let it be. Trinbago won't get no better. You gotta change it, yeah. Just you and me.
Everybody, sing with us.
Wake up!
Turn to somebody.
Everybody.
Turn to somebody and tell them.
I said wake up! Everybody, wake up! Everybody, I said wake up!
So that was Lujo and the Gifted, Wake Up, and we're about to wake up indeed, because our next presenter who's coming on board will wake you up. I can definitely guarantee that. And she said it earlier, she said taking every day one step at a time. So we just need to wake up every single day. We need to start with that, with waking up as our start to our day, and begin our journey of every single day. But without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Karline Brathwaite, who is a drama therapist. And I know that she's indeed coming to, bring a whole insightful ideology to us here as well, and to wake us up. Yeah. So Karline, over to you.
Thank you very much, Darrion. Thank you. Folks, how we doing today? How we feeling? Give me a little wave, a little ray, a little something. Nice. I like it. Where will we go when the quarantine thing done and everybody touch road? And everybody want to find that out, right? But right now we home, so we have nowhere to go. And I know that's a huge challenge for so many young people. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, just very briefly. Some ways that you can try out, because I know some things may work for others and some things wouldn't. Some things we can try out at home to help us cope better. The reality is, this situation, we have no control over it. But there are things that we do have control over. We always have control how we respond to things. And for young people, I know it's even more challenging, because now is a time in our lives where we want to assert our own way of doing things. We want to assert our own control over our environment, and we want to make things happen on our own. But right now, we can't in the way that we usually would. So I want to share just a couple of things. So one way to deal with this, first of all, before I even go into that, from the folks in the room, tell me just 2 things that you find particularly challenging in this lockdown, this pandemic, this coronavirus, this disconnection from your peers. Tell me what's 2 things, everybody has to go, right? So start thinking. 2 things that you find particularly challenging for you as a young person.
For me, I would say immediately not being able to align with my friends, as well as the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen with online school and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Ana-Lissa.
My workout regimen was going real good. It was going real good. And then it went into lockdown, it went bad, and then they raised the lockdown and it went back, it was back to good, and then they put it back down and it went back to bad, So that has been something that's been difficult, just trying to keep up with that, because home workout's real boring. I give you real boring, I find personally.
Okay.
So that's a personal, okay, your gym partner with you, you normally have a gym partner or something. But also, yeah, of course, not being able to just go out to a restaurant or go somewhere and just sit down. If I go anymore, like, yeah, eat in the food court, all these things. Sometimes it becomes a little difficult.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me too, again, it will be the socializing. I basically have, like, let's say, a big team in a sense, right? And usually we'll just go out every Friday, just pick up with ourselves, just call, yo, what you doing today? Let me go so. And that's very challenging. The other thing too is, boy, I don't know about all it, but you see that online school thing, as a man halfway through the class, my mind does go all kind of ways. So it's like, wait, boy, just to sit and actually focus on the screen and what it's seeing is a big challenge for me.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I can't imagine what it's like being on school. I mean, yes, we did university online, but being taught like that, that's new for everybody. So for young people, I want to reassure you that we don't expect you all to figure it out, because we don't even, like, the adults, the teachers, like Ministry of Education, like, everybody's still figuring it out, all right? So I want to say, don't be too hard on yourself. The young people, don't be too hard on yourself. This is going to be hard, but like the word was, like I think Ana-Lissa mentioned, we're going to be okay. So the first thing is I want to share your body. So you see this thing you have here? we store a lot of our feelings and a lot of our particularly negative feelings inside of our body. And one way to counteract the effect of these feelings is by waking up the body, kind of engaging this body and releasing that energy. So we have two gym people in the room. I want everybody to just take a real quick stretch. Take a real quick stretch. Do it with me. Yes. I've seen a little, nice, good. So young people, let me tell you, we neglect our body so much. When we start the day, a real nice thing to do is probably just start by giving yourself a big stretch. What it does, it kind of sends messages to your brain to release some good hormones, some feel-good hormones. So even if it's, like for the dancers in the room stretching or, like whatever it is you do to just wake up your body, making a playlist is an awesome thing to do. So find a feel-good playlist, particularly when you're having real difficult days. Make a real feel-good playlist and you're jamming that whole day. Jam that at the start of the day just to get your blood pumping, get some good hormones going through your body. So you see the exercise thing? Try a little Zoom exercise now. Try it. Darrion, just try it. Just try it. Try it and see if it will work. Right? Get your same gym body. And, y'all could go a little competition. Y'all could give each other some, new moves. Go online, research some new stuff. Try it. It might get you back in the swing of things. So some people who want to do that, try that. I can tell you too, something that you might want to try, this lack of connection, not being able to connect and socialize online. I tried this out, the Zoom parties thing. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's kind of cool. But what about one time with your friends? You'll probably get together, like videos from the last time you'll lime, or like pictures from when y'all used to lime long time, and just reminisce a little bit, catch quick, y'all could get your snacks and whatever, and in the Zoom party, you just kind of like go back in time and go back to those places where you had fun with your friends and you're like only remember when, and like maybe that could get you all feeling good again and connecting with each other. So I don't know if that's an idea, just throwing that out there for some people. A Friday night Zoom bram, and you have your playlist going and you're just jamming together, you're reconnecting. Try it, you might like it. Something else I want to share too, for particularly young people who get anxious. A lot of young people are worrying and getting anxious about, not having control, uncertainty with school, wondering if they're going to fail, thinking about their future, if this is like the end of everything for them. Managing that anxiety and managing your thoughts is really important. And I know sometimes for young people, we don't pay attention to that, but our mental health is so important right now. And there are fun ways that you can manage your anxiety. Breathing, deep breathing. I know we hear it all the time, but I promise you it works. Now, deep breathing, again, excited all you. Deep breathing is not just, filling up by your chest and your shoulders, but deep breathing is really filling up your gut, your belly. So when you breathe, your belly should get bigger and then come back down. That's deep breathing. So when we take our time to take really deep breaths, what it does, it allows us to slow down our heart rates. It allows us to expel some of those hormones in our bodies. We call that cortisol, the stress hormone that makes us feel anxious and worried. It helps us to expel some of those hormones and sends messages to the brain to secrete good hormones like serotonin and stuff like that. So taking deep breaths, taking a moment to just stop. I tell my kiddos, stop, take a breath, observe, and then proceed. When we're having hard times in class, online, just take a minute, stop, catch yourself, and then try again. This whole period right now is a period of trial and error, and nobody have the answer. Nobody. Yeah. So trying some of these things may be helpful. So the breathing, exercise and expel stress, dancing, putting on that same playlist and just vibes in out, that really helps with sending those positive energies, sending those positive messages to your brain. Eating the right foods, don't forget to eat the right foods, and super important is expressing what you feel. Young people, we tend to bottle things in a lot, but we need to find ways of expressing what we feel. Sometimes we may not trust people, because I know that's a thing with young people, we don't trust nobody, and that's okay. But now it's a challenging time, and I want to encourage you to find at least one person in your life that you trust and who really check for you. One person who could really check for you and just express what you feel, express these things without reserve. All right. You know, we hear all the time about learning new things, doing something new. It sounds like people asking a lot from you, but try it, you might like it. Find something that you've always wanted to do, but you never got the time to do it. And take time and try that out. Learning a new language, learning to cook, you know, cooking Sunday lunch, trying your hand at Sunday lunch. You know, some of those things can be exciting and you could do them with your family members if you're so privileged to have, you know, lots of people in your home. Another thing is engaging yourself in the creative, in those creative spaces. Finding art projects at home. You know, sometimes we might have things not working anymore, old things around the house, we could repurpose them. Find some old paint, you know, get some, you make art projects at home. You know, you realize, okay, to have walls around the house I need to paint. Maybe now is a good time to do that. So things like that. And it's not about just finding distractions, but it's about being intentional about these things. These things shouldn't feel like punishment because this pandemic already feels like a punishment, but it should be activities that make you feel good. That's the important thing. Things that make you feel good. And try to find ways that you could do it with your family. I know somebody recently, they played so many games that they ran out of games. And what they did with their families, they created a whole new game. And the name of the game is Lockdown. And that game, I know she's trying to sell it, but she created a whole new board game just by being in this experience. So using the experience to create new things can be something that you can do, and you can do that with your family. Family game nights is something that I'm doing in my own home to engage and spend more time, and also just to pass the time as well and feel like I'm connected to people. So family game nights could be something fun. All right. So those are just some things. I don't know how y'all feeling about those things. Tell me. Let me get some feedback before we end this session.
No, I'm definitely there with you, you know, because I'm hearing some of these things, and some of these things are very useful inside there. For example, YouTube as well is your best friend during this time, right? And you can do a lot of
Yes.
it on YouTube, learn new skills, learn new techniques, etc. On YouTube, learn a new language on YouTube as well.
Yes.
So all those things are available there, and that's an awesome platform. One of the things I also discovered is of course audiobooks as well.
Yeah.
That you have a lot of free audiobooks that you can listen to, so that's also an option.
Great, thank you, Darrion. I also want people to be mindful that because we're on screen so long now, these things can also impact us. So there's always, we have to find a balance, a nice balance. So there's a lot of screen time going on now with classes online, the YouTubing, you know, the Facebooking, the social media engagement. Sometimes we experience virtual fatigue, or our eyes may hurt, you know, we might get headaches. So I just want us also as young people to take care of ourselves, our health, even as we're navigating this difficult time. So taking breaks from the screen, real important, real important. John Michael, I think you're going to say something.
All right, yeah. So for me, basically, my birthday was during the lockdown, right, in April.
Yeah.
And I am a man accustomed not being home for that whole weekend, right? So you ain't see me for the whole weekend. So being on that lockdown now, I think, but why could do it? So in terms of the learning the new skills, as a man, I don't know about all the fitness and thing, but I love my cake now. So as a man, say, but you know what I gonna do? I gonna try to make a cake for my birthday. But I tell you, it come out real good. Don't mind his box cake, yes, so don't roast for that. But it come out real good, and it tastes real good. So that was one of my ways of, you know, implementing, you know, a new skill and bringing that kind of fun into my birthday itself, you know, bringing that kind of vibes in us.
So you bake the cake after the lockdown left. We checking you for cake.
Yes, yes. Awesome. I love it. That's what we ought to do. And, you know, as I say, take one day at a time. You know, if you want to try and include at least one thing in your day that makes you feel good. We always say, you know, one of the key ways to get through this pandemic is by having a routine. You know, try avoid lying down in bed whole day. Try avoid watching TV whole day. You know, sometimes you may have those days. Not going to lie. We're going to have those days where we just don't feel like doing anything. But try to avoid that. Open yourself to new experiences. And thank you, John Michael, for that cake experience. You know, 5 things that are fun to do. Remember, we have relationships, not only with our peers, but we have relationships with God, ourselves, others, and the environment. So sometimes now it's really hard to connect with other people in the way that we want to, but it's also an opportunity now to connect with the other parts of this whole experience. reconnecting with God, finding ways to do that, connecting with the environment, the earth. If you have pets, spend more time with your pets, spend more time outside. A lot of people are going to farming and gardening and stuff now. That's an opportunity too to connect with the environment. And then finally connecting with, what did I miss out? God, self, right, and connecting with yourself. That's super key. Now is a downtime that we get to find out who we are, Talk to yourself. Yes, it sounds weird, but it is really helpful. Talking to yourself, asking yourself, who you want to be, who are you, where do you want to go, what do you like, what are things you don't like, and then kind of painting that picture. Something I like to do out creating collages, using art to kind of put my visions out there so I can remind it of where I want to go and what I want to do. So these are just a few things, Darrion, you to keep me on time. These are just a few things that I want to share with everyone today. And hang in there. I want to encourage everybody to hang in there. As Darrion mentioned, check in with each other. That is super important because we have a lot of young people, particularly, are having more difficult times than we anticipate. I just want to share this with you. A lot of suicide, and yesterday was World Suicide Prevention Day, and suicide is the second leading cause of death for young people between the ages of 29. So that was happening even before the pandemic. So you could imagine now, young people are placed in a situation where even more things are stressing them and things that we don't have any control over. So we want to really check in with our peers, check in with, adults listening, check in with the young people in your life and your circles, try to support them, listen to the needs that they're having, and we want to try to be there for them. Depression is another thing that a lot of people suffer in silence with, and particularly a lot of young people. And this situation can be risky for people like that. So if you didn't call that person before, you remember a friend you used to line with before and you didn't hear from them in a while, now is a real good time to check in with them. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Karline. I mean, you just gave a long list of things and options and methods to really get through these difficult times here as well. And I'm sure that, well, I've taken a few notes, and I'm sure that all our viewers as well will be taking a few notes on what they can do. And some people already, baking cakes. So we already have people who tried something different and something new, and it came out good. So that's a sign, guys. That's a sign. Use John Michael as your testing ground to understand that whatever you do and whatever you apply yourself to for the first time can actually end up being something that you find out is a skill that you have innately. So all the best to everybody out there who's really trying to get through these difficult times, who's trying to get through this pandemic, and finding new ways and new methods to do new things, exploring themselves and exploring the relationship with environment and with God, as you would have mentioned as well, Karline. I think that you gave us a very good list in family game night. So all these different things inside there as well. And one thing that I probably want to add on to that, we have a lot of tensions rising as well during this period. Because everybody's so much with themselves, so much in isolation, and seen so many different things presented through the popular media. That is important that we really take time to express that love, but also to talk through these things, these different issues that we see, and not really to hold it back to ourselves. One of the issues that we've seen with older generations is that they oftentimes, whenever they have an issue with something or tensions around something within society, they used to say, nah, don't talk about that, But now we really need to talk about it, especially during this time. We need to have those honest and open conversations as well. So, keep your friends close, but also keep them in check, right? So if you see certain things and certain behaviors that they're engaging with, remember to tell them, XYZ is the case, and be very careful. Nevertheless, this has been Non-Violence Begins With Me, and I want to thank you, the viewers, everybody out there, for joining us here on this topic of coping in COVID times. I want to say a special thank you to, of course, our speakers, Muhammed and Karline Brathwaite, and of course we want to say as well thank you to Aaron Duncan and Luojo and the Gifted for those two lovely performances, and of course our young panelists who came on board with us as well here, John Michael and Ana-Lissa. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been the Non-Violence Begins With Me, coping in COVID times, and I hope that now you have the proper methodology for coping during this pandemic. Thank you, everyone. My name is Darrion Narine, and it was lovely being here with you all.